Hello, everyone, and welcome to my show, Autumn is Here. Today, I'm here to talk to you about a situation that's been coming up. It has been in the news. It has been around. People have been talking about it. We have so many things that we've talked about on the show, and because we've touched on some things like living arrangements and things like that, and we know that we have options now. We have home care services. We have assisted living places. We have things that are people that are in place to help you, to give you a break. We have all different kinds of things for living arrangements. And we have mentioned about nursing homes. Now, nursing homes that people have been on the show and they've spoken about, it's not always in a positive light. Though we don't have anybody who runs a nursing home on this program, or we hadn't had anybody who is inside working with a nursing home, we do have the experience of others who had loved ones who were in a nursing home. And people have given their comments. I think we might have had one person who was working on the inside at one point, and they've given their comments. And it's very difficult to be able to have that option and make that decision. And you hear all these different things that are negative about a nursing home. Now, recently in the news, there was an incident where there was a man in a nursing home and he had a roommate. And for some reason, they got into an argument that led to altercation. And then one of the men got hurt. They called the family, and the family was to meet them at the hospital. And when the family met them at the hospital, the man was beaten so bad that the doctor thought he got hit by a car or something, or thrown down the stairs, I believe it was, something like that. Like, he knew it was something, that was really, really bad, because he had so many bruises on him. He was swollen all over his face. And when the family got there, it was just a horrible sight to see. But they said that he had gotten into altercation with his roommate. And soon after that, the man passed away. Now, that's a horror story that can happen in a nursing home. And we know that. And these things are real. We're not trying to get people afraid. We just want people to be aware of that these things can happen. And it did happen. I'm not an advocate for nursing homes, but I also know that they are a viable option if that's what you have, that's available to you. I'm not a professional on nursing homes or the living facilities, but I want people to be prepared have information about the options. If they have exhausted all their other options, or if they really cannot do the other options because of their parents' illness and their ability to be able to help them at this time. So I want you to make sure that not to take it off the list of being in a nursing home, but do your due diligence and look into the nursing home. We want to talk about like the pros and the cons of a nursing home. Some of the pros and the cons of a nursing home. We all know that you want the best place for your parent. So it's good to know the information and to have information that you can ask when you go to visit them. So some of the pros are, that they have professional care. So if your parent is in need of professional care and they're very ill, or they need somebody that will help them to get up and walk, and maybe even rehabilitation for their limbs and body, then they may have to go into nursing home. You may not be able to supply them that. So that's one of the pros of the nursing home. You have skilled nurses that are there that is going to help your parents if they are sick and illnesses. They also help with personal care. If their parent cannot wash their body, wash themselves, or things like that. So they help with things like that. So they do have professional care, which is good. They also have structure. Sometimes when people get older, they don't eat like they should. And because you take more medications when you're older, sometimes you may need to eat at certain times. The nursing home can regulate that. They make sure, of course, they make sure they have structure. They have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But there are certain times where for their medicine, they have to have certain kind of something else to eat, something on their stomach. So they will have that down where they can assist your particular loved one individually with the needs that they have. So So some of that is the pros. Also, they may have activities for your loved one. When you get older, you kind of don't have as many friends. You may not be able to get around or go to a facility like a adult daycare center, whatever. So at least in a nursing home, they may have activities already scheduled for people, like on certain days, on Monday and Wednesday, they may play bingo, they may do a social dance, they may play music and arts and stuff like that. So these are some pros of a nursing home. So, definitely do consider that. Some of the cons of a nursing home is that one of the things is that the food. Sometimes the food is not as tasty as you might want it to be. Okay. And that's important too. If your loved one doesn't like the food, they may stop eating, so that's something that you might have to consider. The cost of a nursing home. Now, the cost of a nursing home, if you have Medicaid and that goes through and things like that, then you have state funded, then that may work for you. But if you have any kind of savings, any kind of real estate, any kind of assets, first, they get paid first, and you have to draw that down. So if they have that, it's expensive for them to, care for your loved one. So all that goes to the nursing home. All their income goes to the nursing home. So that's something to consider ahead of time. Isolation, being isolated, being away from the family. Having no freedom, like they may be limited to an area depending on their illness. I know that if you have memory loss, sometimes they are in a certain area and they will, have your loved ones on one floor where they can't get off. Or if you are limited to a floor. You might be limited to a floor. You can walk around, but you can't go to a different floor. Well, maybe your loved one is not that type of person that can stay inside all the time or stay in the house all the time. And they may, get cabin fever being there, So you might want to look at that and see what the activity is and the movement of the clients that they have there. What do they have for them? And if they're going to be limited, you have to ask that question. And just to make sure, the proximity of the nursing home to where you live may be a con. You may go research and you find the best nursing home, but the best nursing home may be so far away from you that you can't see your loved one every week. And you may be limited in the time that you can see them, So there are things that, you really have to consider. So consider the pros and the cons. One of the complaints of a nursing home is that one is the food. One of the major complaints. One of the major complaints is a slow response. Now, if something happens to your loved one, or they may need some aid, or they need to get up or go to the bathroom, or whatever they may need, you want to make sure that if they need something, that they have a way to let the front desk know that they need something, and that the response is a timely response. That's very important. So those are things that you might want to look into, and just make sure that you understand this, and you have to go visit. You have to visit the nursing home before you put your parents in the nursing home. You have to go visit the nursing home. Physically visit, physically see. Now, we see all the advertisements on the computer and online, and they all look absolutely beautiful. Everybody's smiling. The place is clean. It's pretty, great artwork. I mean, everybody's just happy. And I'm not saying that it's not like that, but go to that one that you like and visit and see if it's like that. See if music is playing and birds are flying. No, I'm just kidding. But see if, the place is nice and clean and people are friendly. People are really smiling. They have smiles on their face. You have to visit. You have to visit. Visit and see the staffing. See if they have enough staff around them and people on the floor that's taking care. See where your person would be. See where if the staff are engaging the people there, or they just there to do their job and that's it. That might be important to you. Visit and see the cleanliness of it. Is the place being kept well and clean? Look around, go to various floors, go to various areas, go to the area where a family sits in the lobby. Go to, different areas so if they're keeping everywhere clean. See, what if the equipment doesn't work? Make sure, ask them, let me see, my parents are going to need rehabilitation, and I need to see where you have your equipment and what kind of equipment you have. Ask them. You see a room that has a sign on it, but you don't know what's behind that door. Ask them, can you open the door? Can you let me see what kind of equipment you have? Let me watch see how the person works with another person, or look, just, see if they're up to date with their equipment. If your parent is a large person, see how they're going to get them out of the bed. They may need help. Do they have a lift? And how do they use that? Can they use that? Is that working? Make sure that, go there more than once. Make sure that, when you go there, the elevator's working. Sometimes you go places and they're broken down. The elevator's not working. There's something wrong. It's cold when it's, in the wintertime, or, feel like you can't feel the heat. Things like that. Notice these things. Go different seasons. Go and have someone go with you. That what you don't see, they see. Because if you go and you're emotional, you may want to see good things, and bypass some things. And somebody else is with you, they'll be like, oh no, that's not really that clean, or that door is not locked, it's not safe. Got to make sure they have security. Make sure, see what's going on, see how the people are people roaming around, going to each other's rooms, and what's going on. Just make sure they have the facilities that the things that you need. Now, there are different types of nursing home. I know they say nursing homes, and we kind of clump them into one thing, and everybody does the same thing, but everybody does not do the same thing. And your loved one may need different things. So if your person needs someplace that be more physical, that they need more help moving and being mobile and being lifted, and their illness has them where they're falling and they need to work on their balance and things like that, make sure that they have the equipment and they have things like that are in place for that. If you have some people have mental issues. If your loved one has mental issues, make sure they're put in a place where they have some psychiatric facilities, some psychiatric care for them, so they can take care of them properly. There are different needs for different people. Some people have diabetes and they may be on dialysis. Try to make sure you have some place where they have a dialysis that's connected to them, like that's physically there. You don't want your person to have to go out all the time, because, when you have dialysis, sometimes you have it 2 or 3 times a week, so you want them to be able to go and get to it on schedule, at their appropriate time at all times. So it's good to look for something like that where they have that on the facility. So there are different needs for different people. Make sure dietary, ask them, look at the menu, look at their dietary plan. Make sure that if your loved one needs special care in relationship to their diet and nutrition, make sure they can do it. They can do things like that. They can adjust someone's diet. Make sure that's not a big deal, okay? Because everybody has different needs. A nursing home, you have people from, that needs total help, and some that don't need, total help. They can get up out of their bed, they can wash themselves, but they need to be washed because they're, they have memory issues, or they're not eating right, or things like that. So everybody has different needs. Now we know that some people look at taking your loved one to a nursing home as taboo, as it's, I would never discard my parent to a nursing home like that. I'll take care of my parent. My parent's been good to me and all that. And that's great. If you can take care of your parent and take care of them at home or at their home, that's awesome. Get the help that you need, like home care assistants and things like that, and relatives to help you out, and neighbors, or whatever you have to do. Get the special equipment, like maybe a bed that adjusts, that they can get up and down. It's a adjustable medical bed or something like that, if they need that, if they have a walker, if they, get all the things that they need. And if you can keep them home, that's great. If you have the time and it works with your lifestyle and you can sacrifice your time or change around your schedule, just know that you'll have to do that. You have to sacrifice your time. It's a sacrifice. Caregiving is hard and it's a sacrifice. So know that you have to do that, and you're ready to do that, and you're willing to do that. And when it gets too hard, consider that you may have to get extra help. And the extra help may be that you have to put them in a facility. And it may be assisted living, which if they can still get around, then that may be a great option. But if they can't, a nursing home may be it. I don't want, it to be like, we know that there are things that are not correct with nursing homes and things like that. But the state, the federal government is responsible for the nursing home, the regulations for the nursing home. But within every state, the state has agencies, then they are responsible for their nursing homes in their state. So if you have a complain to the state. You can look online for their department that you can complain to, that you can ask questions to. They have forms that you can fill out online, or they'll have a number that you can call and ask questions. So please go to your state if you have any complaints or ask questions and things like that. But I don't want people to feel that it's so taboo and it's something that's frowned upon, that they're emotional and they're going through all kinds of things trying to keep their parent home. And they don't want to consider a nursing home because of what people might think, or what, family might think, that why can't you take care of your parent or stuff like that. Please do not think that way. Please, if you have run your course, if you have done the best that you can, and you have to remember that you're going to do as best as you can. Your best may be different from my best. Acknowledge that you've done the best that you can. And when you're thinking about it, just look into it properly, the best that you can. Also, know that if you've gone beyond, your parents' illnesses has gotten beyond your means, that you can't help them professionally. That may be something that they need round the clock care, and you're working, or you have children, or you're doing something that is necessary for your lifestyle. And it was okay for a while, but it's not right now. You cannot do it. Look into the possibility of a nursing home. Also, just ask around of other people who have used nursing homes, who have loved ones in the nursing home. Now, no one is going to take care of your loved one better than you. I don't care if they're professional. They're not. But if you are overwhelmed to the point where you cannot service your loved one the way they should be serviced, then consider the nursing home. There are all kinds of nursing homes all over. The thing is that we don't look into it until it's a need, until we have to do it, or until something happens. And there's no guarantee. Sometimes your parent may be fine and all of a sudden they fall and they have to go into a facility, and now they have other illnesses and things that are wrong with them that they can't go back home with you. Now you're going to have to look for a nursing home right away, or they're going to suggest a local nursing home, but you haven't looked into it. My suggestion is, your parent is 70, maybe a couple of illnesses. Look into them, see what's available to you, see what's affordable to you, see what's accessible to you. Look into a nursing home now, just in case. I know if your parent sees you doing that, they're going to say, oh, you're trying to put me in a nursing home, and they might get upset. Well, you don't have to tell them. Okay. On your own, just go visit some. Look, ask questions ahead of time, years before you have to do it. Know what the financial responsibility is. Know what your parents' assets are. Know what kind of help and benefits that they have already that may help you before you go to the nursing home. Make sure that you go, and like I said, you have to visit these places. But also, when you go visit these places, be ready with your questions. Ask them about staffing. Look around and see if they have enough staff. Ask them if they have staff turnover. How often is a staff turnover? Ask them about security. Look around and see if they have a security station. Some places have cameras all around, and it's good to have cameras all around, especially in the hallways and things like that, because the doors are not locked. So people can roam back and forth from room to room. Make sure that they have a security that is manning those cameras. And some places I know that have security guards that walk around. Every hour, the security guards walk around, see if everything's okay. Think about whether you want your parent is in a large facility or a smaller facility. Make sure you ask questions about the grounds outside. sometimes just the mere fact that you're inside all the time can mess with your mind and your psyche. If they have grounds that they can take them outside, that are good grounds where they can sit amongst the flowers and the trees or whatever, and just have a breath of fresh air, maybe they have a garden, make sure that they have that so they can get a change of scenery, feel like they're doing something. You want people to still feel like they're a part of life, is a part of society, because being in a nursing home can be depressing. It can be depressing. So you want them to feel like they still have life and have something else. It may be different, but you want them to be able to make sure that they have they are able to enjoy themselves as much as they can. You want to be able to know that the visiting hours. Know the visiting hours, and visit them not only on the weekday but on weekends, because there are some places that are not staffed fully on the weekends, and I've seen it. So make sure that they're fully staffed on the weekdays and on the weekends. Make sure that it's easy, accessible, that if you have a complaint or problem, who do I call? Ask them specifically, who do I call if I'm concerned? Or who do I call if I don't think this nurse is doing what they supposed to do with my parent? Who do I call? Get that number. So just keep it, just in case. Maybe you'll never need it, but get that number. It's important to be able to contact the person that's going to be able to make everything better, more comfortable, and deal with the issue. It may be a misunderstanding, maybe anything, but you need that person that you can go to as quickly as possible, and they can attend to you and to your parent. So, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer about nursing homes. There are things to consider and to be concerned about. Absolutely. Safety, food, all kinds of different things. But people may not have any other option. And if you don't have any other option, it's good to have that option. All I'm saying is that look into it to pick the best place for your parent. There are so many places. Look into it to get the best place for your parent, and the way that you want them to be and live, and how you can get to them, and other family members can get to them and can reach them. And just make sure it's something that fits the needs of your parent. And of course, their needs will change, because as you get older, you may get weaker, you may need more medicine, things happen. So their needs will change. Make sure it's a facility that can deal with all kinds of different things. In case your parent may deteriorate and may be there for a while. So I want people to use it as a viable option. Use it if they have to use it. If you don't, and you can possibly have the facilities and have everything to keep your parent home, that's wonderful. But if you have to, try not to feel guilty about it. You do the best that you can. But the safety of your loved one and your parent is important. Their well-being and their health is important. And you may not be able to supply that. Understand that. Know that you're doing it in love, and just do your due diligence and research. And there are things put in place that you can ask questions. Like I said, the state, you can contact them if you have an issue or problem. There are different things that you can do. So please consider all your living options, your living arrangement options. Okay, that's my message for today. Thank you for tuning into Autumn is Here, and I will see you next week. Bye.